Hey, Daddy, this is the man of the champions, Bill Fonzie Alfonso, giving a shout out to
Something Else.
Something Else, Daddy.
This is Nickel Matata, Great Warrior Wolf, and you are listening to Something Else.
I'm Tony Cini, and you're listening to Something Else.
Hey everybody, it's Rich Palladino, the voice of New England, and you are listening to Something Else with Aria.
And welcome to episode number 226 of Something Else. Feast your ear holes in this week's episode as we take a look at Mid-South Wrestling and World Class Championship Wrestling from September 1st, 2025. My name is Aria, and joining me, as always, is the Miss Linda to my exotic Adrian Street. It's Trae. Trae, how the hell you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing good.
The nicest thing I ever said about
you. Today was the Colonel's birthday, so KFC had a $10 bucket, so I had that for dinner. So pretty good day.
Nice. I was unaware of this.
Yeah.
I wonder if my local. I assume it was a nationwide thing.
Yeah, it's a national thing.
Yes. Oh well. Hey, if we finish, actually at this point, all they'll have are breasts and wings. And as much as I enjoy a good breast from there, I don't need a bucket of breasts. There's so much I could have said.
Are you one of those people who could fall in a barrel of titties and come out sucking your thumb?
No, if I fell in a barrel of titties, I may not come out.
Oh.
So we're off to the races for the bonus show, since for those who didn't listen yesterday, and why the fuck didn't you listen yesterday? Today's TNA show was a best of show. It's the famous TNA 1 cent pay-per-view. And since Cindy and I have already reviewed every match and segment on that show, why the hell would we do it again? So since Trae and I here, we're 2 weeks behind on our Mid-South World Class to try to be 41 years ago this week. We did a bonus Mid-South World Class so we can get 1 week behind. Coming this Christmas, we're going to get caught up.
It's been 1 week since you looked at me, put your arms to the side, and said I'm angry.
5 days since you laughed at me.
No.
That was a good song.
Yeah.
But yeah, and by the way, to follow up from yesterday, I did not need to look up during the theme song what episode number it was. I actually knew for once.
Oh, congratulations!
Thank you.
I assume it was one up from the one yesterday.
I like that you listen to the intro of the show every week and can't even tell me what the episode number is, since I said it. What?
You think I have nothing better to do when you're talking than listening to you talk?
It would make for a better podcast, perhaps.
Would it? Would it really?
Possibly. By the way, Barenaked Ladies, do you call them Barenaked Ladies or BNL?
I have never heard anyone call them BNL, and if I did, I would be offended.
I don't know if they ever actually really were called BNL, but on an episode of Community, everyone got mad at Jeff because he didn't love the Barenaked Ladies, and they called them BNL. And it's like, oh, they're BNL now.
Okay, that's funny.
I gotta say, the older you get, the more you relate to the older characters on TV shows. It's like, yes, Ariel, you're 15 years old. You're not running away with some adult man who lives on the land.
Yeah, it's funny how your perspective changes with age on like a lot of shit.
Yes. Oh Lord. So Roxanne Perez recreated a picture with AJ Lee yesterday, apparently at Raw. Um, they showed the picture, their original picture, when Roxanne was like 10 years old, and I'm like, did Roxanne shrink? Because she was towering over AJ in the original picture, and now it looks like she's 6 inches shorter.
Huh. Maybe AJ had a growth spurt.
Or the more likely answer, AJ was probably kneeling down or, crouching down a bit for that original picture.
Okay, I haven't seen anything. Does she still have her old music?
Yes. Well, at least she
Okay, the
did on
music was great.
SmackDown. I don't know. I'm sure she still had it on Raw. I'd like to think I would have seen Twitter blowing up last night if they changed AJ's theme song.
Light it up.
Do you remember? Do you remember her Disney theme song? Like, it wasn't really a Disney theme song, but like it was her first theme and it sounded like a theme song from a Disney Channel show.
Vaguely.
Ah. I love that like we're just stalling for time even though there's like nothing to talk about. It is a banger of a theme song, by the way. I will say that.
It is. It is.
Yeah. Somebody online made a hard rock version of it, and I'm like, what the hell's the difference? It sounds exactly the same.
Huh.
Uh,
That's interesting.
yeah. It's not as good as any of the John Cena heel theme songs that never got used. Um, there was one that came out like actually right before he actually turned heel that's really good, and sadly, it really didn't get used. Anyway,
Honestly,
go
okay.
ahead.
We don't need to go off on John Cena rants. These actually weren't bad
But
shows this week.
not at all. But please go off on a John Cena heel rant.
Oh, it was just like I didn't see much of the run. I saw the WrestleMania match, but I didn't see like the turn or any of the other stuff. But I just thought it was hilarious that he finally turned heel and then out of spite changed nothing.
Yes, I did like that. I liked that his entrance wall just became a black screen
Yeah.
with the words John Cena on it. I thought that was
Yeah,
neat.
because
Um,
normally like the way to heat is to take things away that people like, and he just refused to take anything away and give them anything else. That's delightful.
yes, and the funny thing is, it's like he was so hated beforehand, then he turned heel, and it's like, oh, we like John Cena now. But
Which I don't think anybody has hated Cena for like a long time. Like since he's not been the full-time top guy, he's kind of got that legend status that everybody was always happy when he showed up.
pretty much once the Roman Superman push began, the Cena hatred got scaled back because it's like we don't have enough time in our day to hate two people that much.
Yeah.
And honestly, Cena's the reason. Cena's the thing to point at as to why Roman. It took them fucking 5 years to turn Roman heel because like Cena was the least liked person ever, but he sold the most merch. He was the biggest star in the company. Yada 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 yada. So it's like, yeah, sure, people didn't like Roman Reigns. Like that's gonna stop anything.
That's such a weird like aberration. It fucked up the way Vince thought. It's fucked up the way their fans think, or even just larger in the community. Like because now like WWE fans have the idea that it doesn't matter if the reaction is terrible as long as it's a reaction, which I get to some degree, but it's like there's a line, and the line is somewhere before keeping a guy a baby face for years when it's over.
Hmm. Well, let's go to the extra long intro of Mid South Wrestling this week.
Oh
Um,
God.
it's the good
I'm
Watts
sorry.
and the bad Watts together. Bill and Joel are
Oh.
doing commentary, and they're going to pitch it to a funky little skit that couldn't be changed, with a recent departure. But
Yeah.
let's go to that right now.
Hello, wrestling fans. This is Joel Watts here, and for my father, Cowboy Bill Watts, I'd like to welcome you to another exciting hour of Mid-South Wrestling. Today on Mid-South Wrestling, we've got a lot of exciting matches for you. We've got the Midnight Express. We've got Exotic Adrian Street, Nature Boy Buddy Landell, Big Ernie Ladd, and we've got an exciting main event for you today. Hacksaw Duggan against Krusher Kruschev. And there's a special stipulation in this match in which if Hacksaw Duggan loses, he also loses his hair. And we'll be telling you more about that later on in this hour, but first, my father has a few special announcements for you.
Well, thank you. First of all, we have a very serious announcement. Boyd Pierce's mother passed away this week. And, of course, Boyd has been with Mid-South Wrestling for 10 years. It was quite a blow. He said she waited till he got home from the Superdome and the big events in Little Rock and Oklahoma City and Tulsa, smiled at him, and then passed away. And he was naturally very heartbroken. He asked that nobody send anything, any flowers or anything. The funeral has already been held in Burleson, Texas. If you'd like to send cards or condolences, please send them to Boyd Pierce in care of Mid-South Sports, 116 West Breckenridge, Bigsby, Oklahoma, 74008. And I know we'll all join together and wish Boyd Pierce well and that he comes through this ordeal. The PYT, they were fined $10,000. They refused to pay the $10,000 fine, so as the new rule stipulates, they left Mid-South. They are no longer with Mid-South. The PYT, the first victim of the $10,000 fine. A good friend of mine.
Okay, so I actually decided, to break this up a little bit, because I did want to note that Boyd Pierce's mom passed away, and I get what Bill was trying to say, but I chuckled the way he said it, that Boyd's mom waited until he finished his loop in order to die. Like, oh man, I'm going to die, but I can't yet because Boyd is in Little Rock tonight. Tomorrow he'll be home, then I can die.
But look, my mother waited until I drove in from Texas before she died. Like, that shit is real.
Like I said, that I get what they mean when they say that, but it just sounded weird the way he said that. Like, Boyd's mom is on her deathbed, and instead of son going home to spend the last few days with her, he stayed on the road to complete his loop, and then he went home, and then she died.
Like, well, maybe Bill Watts isn't very good at framing things. Have you ever thought of that? Have you ever watched this show?
I watched it once or twice. I then laughed, and again, like, it's the way he said this. It's like, please don't send anything, but if you send it, please send it to this address. And it was the same, I'm pretty sure it was the same address as the Win a Date with the Rock and Roll Express thing. So I'm not sure if somebody will get chosen to go on a date with Boyd. Yeah.
I bet that Boyd Pierce would show a young lady just a lovely time and be a perfect gentleman. And he'd be dressed to the nines.
I don't know if that's meaner than me saying they had a contest to determine Boyd Pierce's new mom.
Oh.
I'm sorry, Boyd Pierce. I know you're dead, but I shouldn't.
We wish you were alive so you could be on the podcast.
Yes. So we can insult you like that in the first 5 minutes and you hang up on us.
Do you remember when, like, this was like a story like 10 or 15 years ago that Justin Bieber went to like the Anne Frank Museum and then he said something like, well, if she was alive, I know she would have been a believer. That's what I just did, was saying I wish Boyd Pierce was alive so he could be on our terrible fucking podcast.
I would like to think that it's not quite the same as Justin Bieber saying that Anne Frank would be a believer. I'm a believer. I wouldn't leave her if I tried.
Hey, do not sully the good name of the Monkees.
Didn't Smash Mouth do a remake of that?
Yeah, they did, I think. Yeah.
So there we go. I'm skirting the name of Smash Mouth.
Okay, good enough.
By the way, Duggan versus Khrushchev, and thankfully I rewatched this and it was exactly the way I wrote it down. Joel just said the stipulation was that if Duggan lost, he would lose his hair. And to be honest, I knew this match was coming up, and I thought it was hair versus hair, which I thought was funny because Darso has, a buzz cut. But I'm like, well, he does go bald, or not go bald, but he does clean shave when he's in, Jim Crockett. So this may be where that happens. But no, just wasn't the stipulation at all. And I know we're shocked that Joel may have forgotten to list a stipulation here. But it ends up being a little bit different.
I'm so sorry for doing this again already. But when Mike Awesome got his haircut in WCW, wasn't he supposed to wrestle Kidman in a hair match? But then Kidman was injured, so he wrestled Conan in a hair match.
Yes, but they covered it up a little bit, and they said that if Conan lost, Kidman would still lose his hair.
Now, see, they should have done the stipulation where if Conan lost, he had to get hair plugs.
Was it on this show that we said they should have a hair match, but the loser? Oh, it was on AEW. I think it was like I keep saying want to say Neville, but no, Ricochet versus somebody. I'm like, it should be a hair versus hair match, but the loser has to let their hair grow in.
Oh God, have you ever seen young Ricochet with the long hair?
Yes. It is not the same person. It's the same person, but it's not the same person.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go to the second half of this. Bill is going to talk about a good friend of his because, hey, Bill is a name dropper when push comes to shove. And let's go to Bill talking about a good friend of his.
Jeff McKay. He's appeared in Baba Black Sheep, Magnum P.I. He was Corky in the mechanic in Tales of the Gold Monkey. He just finished shooting Willie Nelson's latest movie that's yet to be released. He was in the July issue of People magazine with his good friend Tom Selleck. His parents are Neil and Betty McKay of Tulsa, Oklahoma, that I'm really privileged to consider some very fine friends. Jeff McKay enjoys Mid-South wrestling. And when he's home in Tulsa, you can't drag him away from the television. Let's watch a little piece that Joel had edited with JYD and Hacksaw Duggan and Jeff McKay.
Hey, is that guy Jeff McKay? I think he's in there. About Black Sheep? Hey. I'm going to get him, man. Let's hold up there.
That's it. Give him another.
Hey, what's the TV set, man? I'm on Black Sheep on, man.
Look, I'm watching Mid-South Wrestling. Will you leave me alone for a minute?
What's the TV set?
He called Hacksaw Duggan's about to mash this guy.
Oh, we'll bother you anymore.
Just leave me alone for a while. Ouch. Get it. Don't let him grab your turn. No. Well, can't you see, Rapper, you're blind?
Hey, there's a Jeff again on Magnum P.I. Go get him. Hey, brother, check this out, Magnum P.I. They're going to blow you up in a Ferrari or something.
Look, I don't care. Look, I'm watching Mid-South Wrestling. Will you give me a break here? I can't even watch a TV show.
Hey, brother, come here. Shut this up.
I've had it with you guys. I've had it.
What's wrong with this? We're like a television, man. We're like a television. He's going now. Let's give him a look. Let's go, brother. Come on.
Look, I was watching it.
Yeah, check this out, man.
That's Magnum P.I. You guys want to watch a real show? Watch Mid-South Wrestling.
Yeah.
Get him!
Jeff McKay, a really genuine, nice guy with wonderful parents and family in Tulsa, Oklahoma. You know, Jeff, for a rising Hollywood star, is probably one of the most personable and genuine, friendly people that I've ever met. And then you saw JYD at Happier Times with Hacksaw Duggan, and I want to comment 1 minute on the Junkyard Dog, because I watched him come to Mid-South as a youngster, and his first time was failure. Then he came back and became one of the biggest stars ever in the Mid-South area. And a lot of people watched him grow. They supported him and watched his development to become truly a superstar. But then JYD walked out, not only on Mid-South, which really hurt me personally because I considered him a great friend. He walked out on all the fans in the Mid-South area with no notice after agreeing to certain key main events all through the Mid-South area and interviewing about it. And I know I was at the Superdome and talked to one of the fans, and they said, the only thing that really chaps me off is I've supported him and been behind him all the way, then he lied to us twice on television and didn't make the appearance that he's scheduled to appear in, didn't make any explanation. So apparently he doesn't think much. He's outgrown the fans of Mid-South and doesn't think that they're worthy of him even making a statement as to why he left. And I think this is the sad thing, and I think this is what the fans feel, because oftentimes in athletics today, the athletes get bigger than the sport that made them. Without any further comment, let's go to the ring and Jim Ross for our first bout.
Okay, it took 2 weeks, but Bill's finally buried the dog.
You know, at first I thought that, like, wow, he must really fucking love Jeff McKay to air this thing anyway. And then I thought he may have aired this so it would give him an opening to bitch about dog again.
That is very possible, because like the first time when, Dog left, he didn't really bury him. It's just kind of like, man, we don't know why Dog did this, but it sucks. But, let's move on with our lives. Now it's like, fuck that junkyard dog. How dare he leave us, and go somewhere else? And it's like,
Dare he.
ultimately, the reason why Watts is mad is not so much that the dog left, is that the dog left before he could have Dog get pinned around the loop by somebody.
Yeah.
Now, going to the Jeff McKay thing, like this thing, like it was kind of funny, and you kind of like wondering like what the hell was really the point of it, other than, hey, we got actor Jeff McKay, let's use him in a skit. And it's like Hacksaw Duggan and Junkyard Dog are watching Magnum PI. Jeff McKay is watching Mid-South Wrestling, and Duggan and Doug refuse to let him watch Mid-South Wrestling and drag him away to watch Magnum PI. And so he just changes the channel, and once they change the channel to Mid-South, Duggan and Dog are like, hey, this is some good shit.
Well, they've never seen the show before. Obviously, they're always on the road.
Very true. And to be fair, I don't know how old it was, because I could swear I heard Watts say it was a Mr. Wrestling 2 match.
Well, it's only a few months old.
Also, depending on which Mr. Wrestling 2.
That's true.
Because if it was OG 2, then it would have been more like 5 or 6 months. But if it was 2.0, then it was like 3 months.
Okay, Miss Fancy Pants, pedantic lady.
Hey, I deserve my title of Miss Pedantic and Miss Fancy Pants, pedantic lady.
I haven't been on TikTok in a while, but there was like a while back. It was so stupid because it was like AI songs of reading like dumb social media exchanges, but it was so funny because somebody was like, "How the hell you spell chauffeur?" And it was it was spelled however, and then somebody came back with the correct spelling of chauffeur, and then the person replied, "Oh, Fancy Pants, Rich McGee over here. Fuck you, spelling BS."
Oh Lord. I was going around. Actually, this was on the WrestleCrap website the other day. Somebody posted a comment saying that Over the Edge '98 bombed as a pay-per-view buy rate, and I looked it up. I'm like, motherfucker, it was the highest B show in 3.5 years. Like, yeah, fine. Later on in the year, they were doing double that number, but that doesn't mean that the highest number of 3.5 years is a bomb.
There was a big fall at Over the Edge '99, though.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. That's the worst thing I've ever done.
Wow. You need to go to timeout. And in timeout, you have to watch Johnny Mantel wrestle 50 times.
Oh, that's cruel and unusual punishment.
I'm sorry. All right. So speaking of Johnny Mantell, it's Johnny Mantell versus Big Bad Bob Owens. I wrote, I swear to fucking God, if this goes 10 minutes.
You know, I hate to admit it, but Mantell is perfectly tolerable when he's not being put in unnecessarily long matches by his Booker brother. Also, he has grown a beard and he looks like Timu Randy Savage now.
This may have been the fastest match of his career. He won with the side Russian leg sweep in like 2 minutes.
A minute and a half. Watts called it a Russian foot sweep, which is close enough.
Hey, after last week with Jake Roberts, some kind of suplex, when Bill Mercer was talking about his DDT, we'll go with the side Russian foot sweep. So did he call it a Russian foot sweep?
He called it a Russian foot sweep.
I don't know about geopolitical Bill Watts approving of a move called a Russian foot sweep.
You see, if he had worked more closer with Giant Baba, he would have known that the proper name was the Kawazu Drop.
These people have trouble saying Shinanomaki. You wanted to say Kawazu Drop?
Good point. Do you think Hercules could do the Kawazu Drop better than he does the Shinanomaki?
I mean, all he has to do is fall backwards. And while I do make that look difficult, I'm confident that Hercules could fall backwards.
Well, maybe you should try that.
I should try putting people in a side Russian leg sweep.
No, maybe Hercules should try that instead of the Shinanomaki.
Okay. All right. So, well, I guess Hercules isn't really here right now, but let's go to Jim Cornette, who is wearing a mask for some reason. And by the way, we forgot to mention in the opener, the PYTs are gone. We mentioned it yesterday, but yeah, they could not pay their $10,000 fine, and so they are gone. And again, it's not their $10,000 fine. It's Coco Ware's $10,000 fine, and Norvell Austin just left with him.
By the way, this was the point that I alluded to yesterday, that I was very confused because Jim Ross is standing there and he's introducing Art Cruz and Rick McCord, and Art Cruz for some reason is just standing there with his mouth slightly open and a 1,000-yard stare, and for some reason the visual was just hilarious to me. And then you see, I was so confused because it looked like a small negative Mr. Wrestling 2 in a suit.
Well, you got to come up with a way to say Mr. Wrestling 2 that I can use as the episode title. Let's go to the intro of this match with JR and Mr. Wrestling also.
Ladies and gentlemen, this match on Mid-South Wrestling is one fall with a 10-minute time limit. First, introducing the team in the blue corner at 220 pounds from Salem, Virginia, Rick McCord. His partner weighing 250 pounds from Topeka, Kansas, Art Cruz. Ladies and gentlemen, before we go any farther,
I got some things to say.
I must ask, the mask is a notable addition to your attire. Why may you be...
world are you talking about, Jim Ross? Let me tell you something. First of all, let me clear up a point. The PYT are gone, right? The PYT are gone because they used a steel chair in the ring against one of my men. It was a $10,000 fine or leave Mid-South, and for once, what's good for the goose was good for the gander. And they made the PYT leave because everybody knows they didn't have $10,000 to begin with. So for once, Mid-South enforced the rules. But now you know that this mask is a symbol of something that happened to me. Something that I will not go into at this time, but it symbolizes the fact that Mid-South once again discriminated against me, once again did not uphold their part of the contract, once again protected one of their favorites. But in addition, this mask is a symbol of mourning. I'm in mourning today for the people who are not with us any longer. The Rock and Roll Express, the PYT, the Bruise Brothers, all the others that we have gotten rid of since I've been in Mid-South Wrestling. And also, I'm in mourning today for Hacksaw Jim Duggan and the Fantastics. Because, gentlemen, some very, very bad things are going to happen to you in the near future. You'll be gotten rid of too, but not as nicely as the others were. and Krusher Kruschev will begin that step today. I have offered him an incredible amount of my mother's money, a supreme bonus for the hair of Hacksaw Jim Duggan. The match today will be the hair of Duggan against this man's most prized possession, the Russian flag. And I know, big man, all you got to do to get that money.
I appreciate that money, and my motherland appreciates that money. But main thing here, ever since I've been here in Mid-South, I've hated Jim Duggan, and I know I never will like him. But one thing, this flag means more to me than anything in the world. Nikolai Volkov, my comrade, gave it to me, and my motherland gave it to me. So I'm out here to do one thing, and that is, I promise you, I'm going to bring Jim Duggan's hair and put it right in your hand.
And I'll put that money in your hand, big man. Now give me that microphone. Ladies and gentlemen, the Mid-South Tag Team Champions, a whirlwind of action. Loverboy Dennis and Beautiful Bobby, the Midnight Express.
So I didn't look this up, and maybe I should have. Do you think they had a hair versus hair match at some point, and this was done because it hadn't really been talked about on TV yet, and they didn't want to show him bald on TV?
Yes, I assume that was what this was because they did definitely shave Cornette's head in Mid-South at some point, and I assume it was here. And there was it was something like they did it twice or something, and there was one of the guys, one of the fucking managers or whoever, one of the hangers-on from Memphis was brought down to be Cornette's cousin and get his head shaved because they booked the hair match twice.
Well, it's hard to cut the poor guy's hair twice, even with its Cornette, who doesn't have a big, thick, full head of hair anyway. But still, you need to give it a little bit of time for that little bit of hair to grow back.
Yeah. I'll check on Cage Match while we talk, but I assumed that was. By the way, you think that this is where CM Punk got the idea?
I'm sure. I wouldn't be surprised. I laugh, but I would not be surprised.
Yeah.
Now Barry Darso, Krusher Kruschev, one of these I'll actually call him his right name on the show here. He talks about he's never going to like Jim Duggan, which must have made things awkward when they teamed up at SummerSlam '89.
Yeah, I bet that was awkward.
6-man tag against Andre and the Twin Towers.
I bet that was a Lulu.
It was a Haas battle. Well, you're looking that up. Maybe I should look to see what my rating was for that match at SummerSlam '89. By the way, 40 years.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No,
40 years of pay-per-view. Book 1, 1985 through 1990, currently on sale. Book 2, 1991 through 1993, is tentatively going to be on sale October 1st.
Yay.
By the way, 2.0 out of 10. So the equivalent of a 1-star match.
Well, could have been worse.
And yeah, there were 2 6-man tags on the show, and the heels won the first one. So it, 50-50 booking. The baby faces won this 6-man tag. And in case you're curious, it did not lead to a match where Hacksaw Duggan and Demolition then took on Rick Martel and the Fabulous Rougeau brothers to determine who the better 6-man tag team was.
You'd think so, wouldn't you?
You would think they would, but no, nah, brah. That was the first match after intermission, which was then followed by Hercules versus Greg Valentine with Ronnie Garvin as the ring announcer.
Ronnie Garvin, that's who you want as a ring announcer.
It was funny, actually, because, Garvin, Garvin being Garvin, running down, Valentine during the entrance, and it's with that accent and with his speech patterns, I marked out for it, we'll say.
I cannot find if the hair match was at the end of August. He didn't write anything about it in the scrapbook, so I don't know. He has so I assume that this was a taping of on August 29th. It says Midnight Express over ? And ? So poor Art Cruz had written the board.
They're not important enough to be remembered. You know?
Rick McCord is like he's good. Like he's like the best enhancement guy on these shows other than like Mike Jackson.
And I assume Art Cruz had his mouth open because he couldn't imagine why Corny was wearing a mask.
Yeah, we hope so.
This was the point of the show where I forgot that Joel was even there because Bill didn't stop talking for like the first 15 minutes of the show. And the Midnight's won, shockingly enough, with the high-low on McCord. I gotta say, that was a poorly timed high-low.
Yeah, it wasn't very good.
No.
Watts did pop me after Cornette ranted. Watts just goes, quite a long extemporaneous harangue by Jim Cornette. And I'm just like, finally, somebody here speaks English.
We got another Adrian Street video, yet another one not made by Joel. And then we got the debut of Exotic Adrian Street with Miss Linda versus Terry Ellis. And it's funny because every gay wrestler for the past 40 years has tried to emulate Adrian Street, at least with the mannerisms and how they present themselves. But you ever notice, like, nobody ever gets the aggressive side of it down? Like, Adrian Street was one intense motherfucker in the ring.
Adrian Street was a bad dude.
Yes,
like,
he
Adrian,
was. Like,
yeah.
Like you can call him gay and throw the F word at him, but you know that if you were face to face with him, you would not dare say it to him because he would beat your ass.
And he beat the shit out of this geek, and I want him in the main event right now. And by the way, the move that he won with, I guess you would technically call that a crucifix hold, but if you did this today, this would be what is called a crucifix driver. For my fellow Yoshihashi fans, this was the Itadaki Kari.
All three of you.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing wrong with Yoshihashi.
Love Yoshihashi, my boy.
Every wrestler is someone's favorite wrestler.
Everybody has their boys, and just for whatever reason, Yoshihashi is my bottom boy.
And I always think about it like, you mentioned Yoshihashi, whatchamacallit, like, but I always talk about how in Batista's book, he talked about how he was a big fan of the Warlord. Like, nobody is a big fan of the Warlord, except for Batista. And honestly, when you look at Batista and you look at the Warlord, it makes perfect sense to believe that Batista's favorite wrestler was the Warlord.
It does. You're right. Every wrestler has their fan.
Yes. Although if Batista would have come out with a wand with the letter B on it, that would have been tremendous.
Oh, that would have been money. When he came out and did the pyro thing, if he was like just shooting sparks with a magic wand. I think I broke Aria.
I don't know why, but when you said that, I immediately thought of, with our powers combined, I am Captain Planet.
I don't know if it's just the recording or whatever, but when you laugh, I don't really hear it. So it's like, I don't completely know if I just like completely killed the town or if you're laughing your ass off.
I laugh quietly, a lot of the time. Oh, Lord. So Adrian Street destroyed Terry Ellis. I wrote with a crucifix. And honestly, I was a little surprised by this. Adrian's here till the end of the year. So he's sticking around for a little bit.
That's awesome. And then we got an interview.
Yes. We got an interview with the winner of the match. Let's go to JR, who is with Adrian Street, and JR is going to make a big mistake at the end of this promo, in my opinion. But let's go to JR and Adrian.
You've seen Mr. Adrian Street victorious here in his first encounter on Mid-South Wrestling. You come here with quite a reputation, sir, quite an artist, movies, recordings.
And that's just a few of my many facets. Just like a beautiful diamond, you understand? Just like a beautiful diamond on my friend the Queen's crown. And that is one thing I miss coming to this place. As you know, I came here for two reasons. One was that I heard that the Mid-South had the most fantastic talent going in the United States of America. I've come here to check that out for myself. But also, I'm a very, very keen student of anthropology. I've gone anywhere from Borneo, studying the Dayaks, to the Amazon, studying the Javaros. And I was told if I wanted to study savages, that the Mid-South was the place to come. They've got these peculiar people called Cajuns. I've heard of Occasions. What an occasion. And they have cowboys. I can tell cowboys straight away because they've got that very effeminate walk, you understand? And they wear those funny hats. And you can always tell. I often wondered why they called them cowboys. But when I see the women that they sort of take around with them, the women that they chase, then I understand why they call them cowboys. Because the women they chase are just like cows. All these filthy habits too. Swilling beer, chewing tobacco, swilling beer and chewing tobacco. Can you, how horrible. Do you know, and some of the men are just as bad. Absolutely disgusting. All this spitting this horrible stuff all over the place. I really miss my afternoon tea, you understand. Here, I don't think they even understand what tea is. From time to time, I'll be giving little hints, you know, the same as I did when I was in Hollywood and Paris. Little hints and beauty tips and things like that. But here I've got to start from the very, very basics. There's something that they've probably never heard of in this place. I've got to start from the basics, a little thing called soap. Soap, I'm going to explain to everybody what soap is.
Well, there's the initial comments from exotic Adrian Street, and we'll be back with more right after this.
JR needs to learn you do not cut off Adrian Street. If he wants to talk about soap, goddammit, we will listen to him talk about soap.
Was it little hints and hygiene tips?
Yes.
Let's be the episode
Lord.
Okay, I nominate
what was that?
Whatever the exact line was, whatever tips. That was an episode title candidate. I also, you told me to think of a Mr. Wrestling 2 variation. I have two to offer. One is Mr. Wrestling Boo, and the other is Mr. Wrestling 2.5.
Okay. All right.
Or we can explain to everybody what soap is.
Soap.
You should just name the episode "What Soap Is."
What soap is?
What soap is?
Another one of those episode titles where like someone's scrolling by this, going, "What the fuck are they talking about?"
Those are the best titles.
Yes. So the way he talked about the American swilling beer, I thought about poor Lord Alfred Hayes and having to go to Roncevert during a Mid-Atlantic promo.
It popped me. I guess I didn't notice it the first time, or I forgot. Some of the men are just as bad.
He talked about cowboys having an effeminate walk.
Yes,
and JR glances over at Bill Watts.
I want him to come to Dallas so bad.
He'd get big and heat in Dallas.
And we put over Miss Linda a little bit at the start of the show. She is great. She comes out with this motherfucker and gets down on her hands and knees so Adrian could use her as a step up into the ring. That was such a brilliant little bit.
Yes.
These people in Shreveport were completely bemused by the exotic one.
I popped for him talking about Cajuns, about how he's heard of occasion.
Oh, if Cornette and the Midnight Express weren't in this territory, he would be the best thing.
Yes, indeed he would be. All right. Well, remember last week, or by last week I mean yesterday, when Dr. Death cut a promo challenging the toughest guy in Mid-South to come fight him. And he did this while Sonny King was standing in the ring for a match, and Sonny didn't give a fuck. and we were wondering, hey, maybe we shouldn't be burying Sonny King like this. They figured it out because the Dr. Death helmet holder cut a promo earlier today, and he has something to say.
Ladies and gentlemen, Steve Williams has requested this time on Mid-South Wrestling to make another statement about the Dr. Death Award.
Well, I'm still here and I still got the Dr. Death Award. There's not a scrawny little referee who can take it away, and neither can Mid-South. So this is a challenge to anybody who walks on this earth. It's the toughest man award. So if there's any tough man around who thinks he can go through Dr. Death, just bring it on, right here in the middle of the ring.
Those comments from Dr. Death, that challenge issued to anybody.
All right, so Trae, Dr. Death has been dead for about 15 years now. Do you think you could go challenge Dr. Death now?
Me or Sonny King?
You.
I have a pretty big head. I don't know if the football helmet would fit anyway.
You don't want to become the Dr. Death helmet holder?
I don't want to touch Dr. Death's helmet.
Even though he's dead.
Especially now that he's dead.
Okay. You know, I hear he doesn't approve of, just any man touching his helmet.
I would never. I would never.
Not that there's anything wrong with that, If you enjoy grabbing another man's helmet, feel free to.
I never got to see Doc wrestle live, but I did. In his last few years, I think he lived in Shreveport, and he one of the house show loops, one of the shows I went to, he was the guest referee for Chris Benoit Booker T U.S. title match.
Interesting. Did he help Chris Benoit win? So I assume Benoit was the babyface.
I do not believe that Benoit needed help winning, but Benoit did win, and I think he just. I think it might have been. I don't remember the finish, but he called for the Doc called for the bell.
That's good. He was good enough as a referee to call for the bell.
Yeah.
All right. Buddy Landell versus Robert Christie. Buddy's advisor, Ernie Ladd, is not at ringside this week, quite possibly because Christie is a bum. And Landell won with a forearm of all things.
Yeah, he was in a bad mood after being embarrassed by Brickhouse Brown last couple of weeks. So he did not get embarrassed. Now that was I would call that an elbow smash. Masawa wouldn't have turned his nose up at that.
Oh, I wouldn't believe he would. I thought, well, maybe we're setting up a feud with him and Terry Taylor, who is a little bitch and a stooge.
And is the TV champion and hasn't been seen on TV in at least 2 weeks.
Well, let's say no, he's not the TV champion, but yes, he is the TV champion. He's been the TV champion, and I don't think he's defended the medal one time on TV yet.
Well, he can't make TV. He's got to defend the TV title at all the houses. That's so fucking stupid.
Actually, no, he did defend the TV title medal on one TV show because that's when Dr. Death got pissy at him.
Oh, was that a title match?
Didn't he have to defend the title against Krusher Kruschev?
I don't remember, and my shit's all screwed up right now, so I can't easily look.
Okay. Please unscrew up your shit. I don't need you going to a doctor for that.
No, I switched software because the software that I was using I love, but it's very expensive. So I found an alternative, but it's a pain to migrate everything.
It's cheap and it's sucky. You can say it.
It's not sucky. It's just a pain. It's just a pain to migrate because of the proprietary way that Rome Research handles data.
Mm-hmm. So even though Ernie Ladd did not come out with Buddy Landell for his match, Buddy Landell did come out with Ernie Ladd for his, showing that Buddy Landell is everyone's buddy. And Ernie Ladd took on Brickhouse Brown this week. And I noticed that Ernie forced the code of honor to be adhered to this week, which I think is always nice when the code of honor gets enforced. And Ernie forced it on Brickhouse Brown. And Brown was so mad that he had to shake this man's hand that he punched Ernie in the face. What poor sportsmanship by Brickhouse Brown.
Get over here and shake my hand, you bum.
Lad
Dasso, come
went
over
for
here and shake my hand.
Lad went for something out of his tights, but Brown drop kicked him, and Budrow ran in for the DQ. Sonny made the save. Lad took a very wonky backdrop.
Sonny King will just make the save for anybody. He is a fine, upstanding citizen.
He is a baby face, you know. He doesn't care if you know, if you're his bestie or not. If you need help, here comes Sonny King.
And you need a man like that on your roster.
By the way, wasn't there an indie wrestler who had the nickname of your favorite wrestler's favorite wrestler? I could.
A lot of people
almost
have called themselves that.
Okay, well,
called that.
Recent-ishly, I know somebody was, because AJ said that on Raw last night apparently, and the internet blew up, and I'm like, this is not a new catchphrase.
It was fun. I actually saw a news story about that last night, so I know what you're talking about. And I was still confused. Why would AJ Styles say that?
Well, no, AJ Styles was too busy talking about Gallows and Anderson and Mitchin.
Yeah. There weren't two AJs in the company last time, was there? Because she was already gone when he came in.
No, there wasn't. And the funny thing is, like, I just saw an article about AJ Styles talking about retiring, and I'm like, well, obviously, we can't have two AJs in the company at the same time.
Let AJ retire. He's done his part. He got nothing to prove to anybody.
I'm just happy that they're not broadcasting a show on something called the AJ Network, because then we'd have to have April J. Lee and Alan J. Styles on TV. Because you don't want to confuse them with the television network. I know I keep talking about that. That is seriously my favorite thing. It's like they made C.W. Anderson change his name to not so the fans wouldn't confuse him with a television network.
They should have named him the C.W. Anderson, and he could have been the the Brian Kendrick.
Oh Lord, yeah, that was before Brian Kendrick became the Brian Kendrick. Wasn't that because Adam Lee used to call Taz the Taz?
Yes,
like it was
that was
an inside joke. Yeah. It's like it's good. It's good that we're ruining people's. I'm not ruining people's career because I don't think he got ruined by that. But it's like it's good that we're affecting people's careers just to rib the announcer.
Yeah. Mike Adamley was terrible.
He was. I loved him as the GM. You know,
I don't think I saw a lot of that.
He was getting paid way too much money for his role, which is why they kept pushing him into spots he wasn't ready for. But like, I loved him as GM, as that, like, honestly, it was very Jack Tunney-ish. It's like this very goofy guy that like you take seriously because you have to, but like he's not a very eloquent public speaker and all that fun, happy shit. So Jim Duggan versus Krusher Kruschev in a hair versus flag match. So the flag stipulations got added. Maybe they were always supposed to be there, but you know, Joel didn't mention them, and Krusher Kruschev vaguely talked about them, but not really in a way that like drove the point home that the flag was on the line too. Now the finish of this match is obvious, but can you imagine what if Duggan actually had won the Russian flag here?
He probably would have done something terrible to it, like blow his nose on it or burn it.
Yeah. Oh my God. I actually forgot that part until you said that. Further, I would have read my notes a little further. I could have figured that one out, but
by the way,
now
thanks to Bill for clarifying. Duggan, it's not just that Duggan gets the flag if he wins. It's also Khrushchev is never allowed to bring a flag to a Mid-South event again. They didn't even say a Soviet flag. He is not allowed to bring a fucking Kuwaiti flag or an Australian flag or a Democratic Republic of the Congo flag to a Mid-South event.
What if Krusher Kruschev is LGBT and he wants to bring the rainbow flag to a Mid-South event?
Fuck him. No flags.
Honestly, 84, well, pretty much anywhere, but 84 in the South, that might make him a bigger heel than the Russian flag.
If he showed up, there would be evangelicals there chanting "Flag go home, flag go home."
So Duggan and Khrushchev would go on to have a reported 47 singles matches in their career, and Duggan holds the all-time edge with 42-5. And I think that's why Duggan retired, because he's worried that Darsow would even up the series.
Okay,
then,
I'm trying to do math here. Okay, how many of those were Mid-South, and then how many of those were like the Repo Man?
honestly, I didn't break it down. It may have been 46 WWF matches in one Mid-South show. But yeah, I didn't break it down.
Because they wouldn't have been in the same place for a while, and then they were both baby faces, and I was confused. Then I remembered the Repo Man.
But even when Demolition was heels, it was Demolition, so it's like they weren't doing a lot of singles matches.
That's true.
Or if they were, it wasn't against singles wrestlers. It'd be like, oh, the Demolition is feuding with the Killer Bees, so on this show you're gonna have Axe versus Jim Brunzell and Smash versus Brian Blair.
Maybe he wrestled Hole in One Barry Darsow on WCW Saturday Night.
He probably wrestled the Blacktop Bully, you know. So after Duggan won with the spear. After the match, Duggan held up the Russian flag in a screenshot that could not ever be taken out of context. And then after a struggle over it, Duggan got it and tore up the flag.
They sure did. Okay, so let's see the way they number these. 47 minus. So they had like 15 in Mid-South in 83, 84. And Jim Duggan defeated Smash at February 16th, 1991. That would have been like after the Demolition second heel turn, right?
Well, yes, and that was when he was it was the tail end of him teaming with Crush.
Yeah, and then he did work the loop with the Repo Man a lot, and then they did wrestle 3 times on WCW Saturday Night, once on Thunder, and 3 on WCW house shows. Their last singles match? Okay, their first singles match was December 7th, 1983. Their last singles match was July 20th, 1999.
That is a never-ending feud right there.
Mm-hmm.
And that was also when Barry Darsow was coming out under all of his non-WWF gimmicks on Saturday night. Because he came out, remember, one week as Krusher Kruschev, and then he was Hole in One Darsow, and then I'm pretty sure he was the Blacktop Bully at some point, and that's all of his gimmicks. So I should probably stop listing them off now.
Okay, who would have been booking WCW house shows in '98? Any idea?
Maybe Jimmy Hart.
Because they did that loop. They did Duggan and Darsow on a Baton Rouge, Alexandria, Shreveport loop, and I'm like, was that an inside joke from somebody who was a Mid-South fan, or was it just a coincidence?
Maybe Terry Taylor was booking.
Maybe that's what I thought, actually. Yeah.
I only thought Jimmy Hart because I remember Luger did a lot of house shows, and Luger would also do a lot of Saturday nights when Jimmy Hart was booking that, because Jimmy could get Luger to agree to come in and work his shows. So I thought that may be why, but yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense that it would be
WCW house shows, and again, WCW had 400 people in their contract. WCW house shows would be you'd have the main event would be Sting versus the Giant or Luger versus the Giant, and then it's matches 2 through 9 were the best of WCW Saturday night. But it would always be the C-level luchadors, or not the C-level luchadors, but the C-pushed luchadors, the ones that never got a win on Nitro. They'd be wrestling on the house shows. Chris Adams would take on Norman Smiley.
Okay.
Jim Duggan would take on Barry Darso.
Okay, here is the card for this house show in Shreveport. Okay, the Cat over Brad Armstrong, Lismark Jr. and Silver King over Cyclope and Damien, Chris Adams over Fit Finley, Jim Duggan over Barry Darso.
I would have popped if you'd have said Chris Adams over Norman Smiley.
I know, I was hoping. Duggan over Darso, Jericho Malenko went to a no contest, Saturn beat Raven, and then Luger beat Bret Hart by DQ, and it turned into a tag match with Nash and Luger beating Bret Hart and Scott Hall.
Geez, makes you kind of wonder who ran in and what the finish was of that Bret Hart Luger match.
Can't imagine.
Yeah. But WCW would also, I don't know if that what they did that there, but I remember on the European tour in 2000, like they would announce in advance there's going to be 8 matches, and then they'd send out a main event that would immediately get DQ'd and turn into a tag match, and so that would count as 2 matches. It would piss off the crowd when they'd realize it afterwards. Like, we were told 8 matches, we only got 7. Wait, that 30-second DQ counted as a match.
That I would call that a bait and switch.
Yes. So at this point, and I actually had to go to Peacock for the end of the show because, go figure, the video got distorted. At least my video got distorted.
Huh.
So I had to go to Peacock to allegedly watch a video of the Rock and Roll Express. So I heard JR talk about it, but nothing else. And then Dugan was at ringside, surrounded by all the fans, and he set the flag on fire.
Yes, he did.
Poor Krusher Kruschev. I know Nikolai Volkov's not coming back, but I bet Nikolai is pissed off that this gift that he bestowed upon Krusher Kruschev is being burned up.
Maybe he'll come back for revenge.
Possibly. But next week, we're going to have Dr. Death Steve Williams versus Chris Adams, of all people. And I would presume it's for the Dr. Death helmet.
You would think so.
By the way, have you figured out yet who the linear Dr. Death helmet holder is?
I have not.
Okay, you need to find out by tomorrow when we do Smoky Mountain Wrestling. Because you have nothing better to do than to follow 35 years of results just to figure out who is the holder of the Dr. Death helmet.
I was certain that this had to finally be it for Krusher Kruschev. He's on the fucking show next week.
Yeah, but that's it for him.
That is it. Yeah.
Yeah. He's not going to the WWF though. I think we said he's going to Florida, and after that's when he goes to Mid-Atlantic.
Yes.
All right. So I thought this was a fine episode of Mid-South. Nothing super remarkable, but nothing bad.
Yeah, it was a decent show. Not bad. The wrestling is what it is, and the other stuff is, pretty good.
Yeah. All right, so let's go over to World Class. Let's go to the intro with Bill Mercer.
To Beirut, from Hawaii to Puerto Rico, and from Oregon to Orlando, this is World Class Championship Wrestling. Hi, everybody, I'm Bill Mercer, and we have a tremendous main event. It features Gino Hernandez, a happy half-breed from the penthouse to paranoia, you might say, the former American heavyweight champion, as he takes on his old nemesis, the handsome hero from Denton County in Texas, Kevin Von Erich. That's our tremendous main event. In addition, you're going to see such exciting stars as Skip Young, the Iceman, and those pretty young things. All that and more on World Class Championship Wrestling. Coming up first is handsome Englishman Chris Adams and George Weingroff. Next on World Class Championship Wrestling.
All right, so this week we're going to have handsome Kevin Von Erich, handsome Gino Hernandez, handsome Chris Adams, and ugly-ass George Weingroff.
Poor George Weingroff.
I mean, I assume that that's what Mercer meant when he didn't talk about how handsome George was.
Well, Bill. Bill is a little off lately.
But Bill, you were talking about like, and I didn't notice this when I watched it before, but yesterday you were talking about he didn't look good on today's show. I don't know what you're talking about. He looks groomed.
There's a shot toward the end of the show that was rough.
Okay, maybe we'll get to that, I guess, later. Um, but I noticed he did the from blah to blah intro again, which I popped for the first time, not so much the second time. So we get what's allegedly the opener, which is Chris Adams versus George Weingroff's penis. See, I don't think this is really the opener, and maybe this was like the second half of the TV taping taped at the Sportatorium, because Drunk Mark Lawrence did not do the whole spiel about how World Class is the only promotion seen worldwide, and referees are Bronco Lubick, David Manning, and the other guy whose name escapes me that's rarely on the show.
He
So I
hasn't
don't
been
think
here
this
in
is really
ages.
the opener.
Yeah. You're probably right.
Now Gary Hart was seen at ringside sitting next to Drunk Mark Lawrence taking notes. And they allege that he's taking notes because he's looking for talent. Personally, especially because this is the only match he's sitting out there for, I think he was out there trying to stooge off Drunk Mark Lawrence's BAL, the Fritz.
I thought you were going to say that he just wanted to see if the legend of George Weingroff's penis was true.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. I noted here, and I mean, because you don't see many people who are left-handed, so it's like it was just notable to me. Gary Hart is left-handed.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah. Mercer in the middle of this match started talking about the Olympics, and I'm like, when the fuck did he become Bill Watts? You know.
Well, it was Olympics time. The Olympics had just passed.
It was, and I actually watched one WWF Championship Wrestling either last week's or this week's from this time, and they were talking about the Olympics too. I'm like, okay, do y'all like have nothing better to talk about on your show?
Well, the Olympics are a big thing.
So Weingroff tried to give Adams the sack of shit slam, but he's blind, so he had no idea where he was, and so they tumbled out of the ring.
Is that what happened? I thought they did a crossbody against the ropes and then just tumbled.
Maybe I looked at it as a sack of shit slam that tumbled.
There's not that much practical difference other than who was creating the momentum that sent them over the top rope. I was just glad they didn't troll me and call it a double DQ.
Imagine if somebody challenged Weingroff to a blindfold match.
That would be stupid.
Yes. Adams eventually won with a schoolboy and a super slow count. And I had to rewind this just to make sure I heard Mercer say this correctly. Mercer said this was an upset.
No, it wasn't. Not even a little bit.
And I'm like, how far has Chris Adams fallen that the lead announcer is calling Chris Adams beating George Weingroff an upset?
Maybe Adams needs representation.
Yes. Maybe he needs Gary Hart.
Wouldn't that be something?
Indeed, it would be. But remember, like last year before the Jimmy Garvin feud, that Chris Adams had the back asswards push, where it's like 1 week he's beating Buddy Roberts, and the next week he's losing to John Mantell.
Yeah.
So
Maybe that's what Bill was thinking of.
Yes. Bill's like, man, I forget a time before Chris Adams versus Jimmy Garvin. Killer Khan with General Skandor Akbar versus Mike Gallagher. I got distracted. Khan won somehow, probably with the knee drop.
It was the knee drop. It was fun. I like Killer Khan.
I gotta say, I did not appreciate Killer Khan until I watched that match with Gordy a few weeks ago. It's like, holy shit, where has this Killer Khan been hiding?
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
All right, so anytime you have a meh show or even a decent show, the one guaranteed way to make it better is to stick a microphone in front of Gino Hernandez's face. Let's go to Bill Mercer, who's going to stick a microphone in front of Gino Hernandez's face.
With Gino Hernandez. Gino, from everything you've said, you are rather paranoid now about Stella Mae French. You see her everywhere. She seems to bother you. You going to be able to overcome this?
I overcome any obstacle in my life, and especially some hormone imbalance female that tries to stick her nose in a man's business. Now, let me say right now, Stella Mae French, after 9 years of work, cost me the world heavyweight title. I had Ric Flair beat, and she brought a 2x4 down to the ring and caused me to lose the world heavyweight title. Then Kevin Von Erich don't have enough guts to show up, so he sends that wimpy little brother of his here that everybody knows never in a million years could beat me. But Stella Mae, I don't care. Everybody says it wasn't her.
It wasn't her.
It was her.
I know
she showed up down here, so I was distracted because she's always showing up where she don't belong, and he happened to come in behind me after I clearly had him beat and roll me up. Okay, fine. Shut up. I am still your champion. Mike Von Erich is nothing. The whole Von Erich clan. Shut up. Stella Mae French. I've had enough of you. You cost me the world title. You cost me the American heavyweight title. Well, if you want to stick your nose in a man's business, I can sure treat you like a man and kick your teeth down your throat. It doesn't matter where I go. I'm driving down the road in my new XJS Jaguar cruising down the road. What happens? Here comes that 18-wheeler. I know it's you in there. If you think you intimidate me behind that stupid truck, you're wrong. I've had enough of it. And Stella Mae, you may have got the first laugh, but the last laugh will be mine on you and the people and the Von Erichs.
That certainly seems to be a man suffering from an extreme case of paranoia. Part of it, of course, is factual, as Stella Mae has given him a hard time. But if Gino Hernandez is to survive, he's going to have to overcome this. We'll be back.
Okay. I have never wanted to see an intergender match so much in my life. I want Gino Hernandez versus Stella Mae French.
The woman who distracted Gino when he lost to Mike Von Erich was several decades younger than Stella Mae French.
Yes.
He is very confused.
Yes. Well, I mean, when you're paranoid and all you see is like the back of a somewhat tall blonde woman, especially with that 80s Texas hair, it's like, I don't blame Gino, especially with that nut job running around. I do wonder, though, because she apparently ran in with a 2x4 to hit Gino with it. Did she get fined $10,000?
That's only in Mid-South.
Well, she should still be fined $10,000.
By the way, this was the point that I noted that Bill looks like formed over hell.
I don't know. I don't see it. I think about the Bill we had a couple weeks ago when he forgot his comb and his razor, or his comb and his razor ended up in Kevin's bag in Arizona. But
he just looks old. He looks old and unkempt and exhausted.
I can see that. 84 has been a long year. Next week, we're informed we're going to have a stupendous battle between Killer Khan and Kerry Von Erich.
That sounds stupendous.
That does sound stupendous. All right. So speaking of $10,000, the PYTs are here trying to make their $10,000, and they're going against Iceman Parsons and Skip Young. Now, the fans booed the PYTs, and personally, I think it has less to do with them attacking Skip Young a few weeks ago and more to do with them not paying their $10,000 fine.
You think so?
Yeah. And here's the question. And I hope, that Mid-South wouldn't fuck around the PYTs like this. Now, since Coco Ware is the person that, attacked with the chair, even though it's also led to Norvell leaving, I hope they aren't expecting Norvell to also pay $10,000 to get back into the territory. That
Well,
only
surely not.
Coco has to. Yeah.
No, Norvell would be welcome back if he wanted to try his hand as a singles wrestler.
With open arms, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So it's I don't know about you, but this feels like the first time in months that we've seen Iceman wrestle on the show, mostly because he's been teaming with a pedophile up until now.
Yeah, this was good, I thought.
It was a fun little match here.
Yeah.
They got the heat on Skip. Iceman got the hot tag and almost immediately got cooled off. Well, he is the Iceman. If he were on fire, he'd have to change his name. Skip eventually pinned Norvell with a crossbody. After the match, the PYTs throw Iceman out of the ring, but he recovers before they can continue working over Skip. Norvell seemed upset after the match because they still can't afford to pay their fines.
Well, they're not gonna get rich working in Dallas.
Nope, and that might be why Coco goes to New York because that's where all the big money is. But the problem is he couldn't win a goddamn match to save his life.
Now, do you think when the WWF would go to the former Mid-South area, did he still have to like pay that fine to the Louisiana State Athletic Commission to get reinstated, or was that strictly a Mid-South sports thing? And that does Coco owe 10 grand to Jim Crockett?
I think that Coco's pay got docked anytime they were in the Mid-South region until he paid up his $10,000.
Well, that's. You know what?
Yeah.
We have to be a society of laws.
Exactly. You cannot break rules and get fined and expect to run away from your fines and not pay them.
No.
Oh my God. I was somebody at work yesterday as we're recording this. So they call in and they're like, their mom died, but they're worried about filing a beneficiary claim because their mom owed money to the IRS. And I'm like, well, if I claim it, won't the IRS just take the money? I'm like, I've never seen that, at least through this job. Like when I did taxes, yeah, all the time, they just take the damn money. But at the end of the day, if the IRS is going to do it, they're going to do it whether you take the money now or wait a year. So you might as well just do it now and get it over with.
Well, yeah.
Because here's the thing.
Hard to argue with that logic.
Yeah, the FBI did not get Al Capone. The IRS did.
Yeah.
So all you tax evaders out there, keep that in mind. And actually, when I started, the first year I did taxes, that was one of the first things our trainer told us was that remember it was the IRS that got Capone, not the FBI.
It's good to remember.
Yeah. So we get our main event, Gino Hernandez versus Kevin Von Erich. I am perpetually bored by World Class, even when you have a good match. I just need more in my life than 3 long matches a week and once in a while getting an interview. The finish saw Gino secretly pull out an international object and KO Kevin with it for the win. It was a secret because the camera cut away while he was getting it. Stella Mae ran out and attacked after the match and hit Gino. Gino tried to defend himself and hit Stella, but Kevin stopped him. And then, in the biggest bullshit finish we've ever seen this week, despite A, not being the referee, and B, not actually seeing Gino drop the brass knucks, but David Manning Von Erich came into the ring to break up the fight, saw the knucks on the ground, automatically assumed that they were Gino Hernandez's and that he must have used them on Kevin Von Erich, because why else would he have them, and reversed the decision, overruling Bronco Lubick and announcing Kevin won by disqualification.
Did that really happen? Because I did not notice that at all.
You didn't notice that?
I did not. I was more preoccupied. Number one, David Manning came in the ring to head off Stella Mae French when she came to attack Gino. And I know you said the intergender match that you want to see is Stella Mae French against Gino Hernandez. I would pay several money to see Stella Mae versus David Manning Von Erich.
just to watch David Manning and Eric get yeeted across the ring.
But I was preoccupied. You said that they cut away. They went back and showed a slow-mo close-up of Gino wrapping. It was tape. It was fucking tape around his hand.
But this is the 80s and into 90s. That's the brass knucks. You know, it was just tape like that.
Well,
but yeah,
spray paint it silver or brass or whatever.
But it's like, yeah, David Manning when Eric did not see the knucks. He was not the inside the ring referee, so he did not see Gino hitting Kevin with it. However, he sees knucks on the ground, picks them up, assumes that they're Gino's, and disqualifies him. I'll be honest, if I'm the Von Erichs, and I know the Von Erichs are good Christian athletes who would never violate the rules like this, I take advantage of it. Just like if I know this biased-ass referee is going to take my word for it, I'm going to bring in brass knucks, and then if I get into trouble in a match, pull them out, throw them on the ground, and David Manning will automatically assume it's my opponents and disqualify them.
Oh, God. I'm still doing G1 catch-up, and there was like an undercard tag match that Sonata was like Fate getting hit with a guitar, and the referee disqualified whoever it was. And I'm like, look, I know these New Japan refs can be pretty dumb, but like Kenta Sato was dangerous levels of stupid right there.
I love that you are weeks behind still, and you're watching those fucking undercard tag matches.
You can have my prelim tags when you pry them from my cold dead fingers.
Well, we'll let you keep your undercard tag matches. See, this is why most people have finished the G1 already.
It's only like an hour of the show.
Yes, and then it's like you could make up that hour watching an hour of the next show of the G1 matches.
By the way, I'm still waiting. Stuff to do in my life. Like sometimes it's nice to have some undercard tags on in the background.
By the way, I still want what's his name, Walker Stewart, to explain why the 4 B block matches always seem to last a little bit longer than the A block matches. Like in a kayfabe sense. Like why are the people in the B block needing to take longer to beat each other than the people in the A block?
I'm sure there's a wonderful reason.
I'll spoil it for you. He doesn't come up with one. Because I did tweet that at him, and he liked the tweet, but he didn't bring it up at all.
You see that's why you tweet Chris Charlton.
Chris has never responded to me. Walker will once in a while say something to me.
Walker and I are mutuals. Chris will like a tweet now and then.
Anywho, let's go to a show closing promo with Bill Mercer and Kevin Von Erich.
Kevin Von Erich, after his bout with Gino Hernandez, will Stella Mae French is struck again.
Well, you know, I don't approve of anybody getting involved in my matches, but she's got a thing with Gino Hernandez. She informed me in the back a while ago that it doesn't matter. Anytime Gino Hernandez is in the ring, she's coming. What can I do? You know, she's asked me, maybe she is a little crazy. But I'd rather have it the other way, but Hernandez used something on me. She saw it, I didn't. I'm sure he used something on me.
Yeah, I saw it later, and of course that's why he was disqualified.
Yeah, right. Well, I'm still a little groggy right now, but I guarantee you, next time I get Gino Hernandez in that ring, you better bring a cannon, because it ain't going to stop me.
And Mike Von Erich very happy that you didn't show up, because now he's American champion.
That's right.
Thank you very much, Kevin. We'll see you next week when Kerry meets Khan on World Class Championship.
So why would he bring a cannon to the ring if it won't stop Kevin? Like, if I know that, okay, cannon's not going to stop him, what's the next step up from a cannon? Maybe that'll stop Kevin.
What's the next step up from a cannon, Aria?
I don't know. I'm reaching. I'm not up on my medieval weaponry. Maybe just throwing a giant cannonball at him.
A tank is probably the correct answer.
And especially with those narrow ass aisles in World Class, just driving a tank down, taking out a couple hundred fans.
You know, I've been reconnecting with my love of military history lately, and I was thinking about which American Civil War generals would be analogous to World War II generals, and I just thought, man, William Tecumseh Sherman would have goddamn loved the way to do drive-by artillery barrages.
And that was this week's history lesson by Trae.
That was why they named those World War II era tanks Sherman tanks.
Okay. We learned something today. Anyway, did it seem like Kevin was not thrilled about doing this promo? Like, yeah, I don't like when people interfere in my matches. And he didn't seem all that enthused about winning the match either. It's like, yeah, I guess I won. Gino put something on me, and it's like I don't know. It's like it's like what's his name? Mantell told him to go out and cut a promo about Stella Mae French, and he's like, I don't want to fucking cut a promo about Stella Mae French. And Ken Mantell's like,
Everybody,
I'll have you doing 10-minute draws with my brother if you don't get out there and talk about Stella Mae French.
everybody in this territory is sad right now. Poor Bill Mercer, poor Kevin Von Erich.
Hashtag sad face. But hey, thanks to Kevin being unable to make the show, Mike is now the American heavyweight champion.
He is our champion.
Yes. Although Gino will forever be our champion. Isn't he still the Texas champion?
Well, I don't know. They only have one belt, and Mike took it.
Oh God, what did you say before I said that, by the way?
I don't remember.
Okay, great. Let's see. So that was definitely a show here.
You're right, because it is like there was some good wrestling. Like the PYTs and Iceman and Skip Young match was very good. The Gino and Kevin match, very good. Look, the best working Von Erich and like a great working Hill just got over big in the Sportatorium. But it's just with the way this show is paced, it's such a slog.
So I don't know why, but Tyler Breeze has randomly returned on NXT.
Really?
Yeah. Somebody won a flag match over somebody else, and somebody else is laying in the ring covered in the Canadian flag, and Tyler Breeze randomly walked out and took a selfie with him.
That is random. Man, Breezango was like, they were like the perfect opening match tag team.
By the way, Tavion Heights defeated Ethan Page in the flag match.
Oh, how about that?
The one that bugged me, and I guess, it's Vince McMahon. Breezango was small. Brody and Rowan are big. But it's like they spent like 6 months building up to that eventual match those two teams had on pay-per-view, and it was a 2-minute squash match.
That's pretty Vince.
Yes. That is pretty Vince, even though, like, for whatever reason, he didn't seem to be a huge fan of Mr. Brody Lee.
That's so strange. Like, you'd think he'd fucking look. Is it just. I don't know. Is it because he looked slovenly? Because, like, that was the gimmick that they gave him.
Possibly. And, like, and it's funny because it's like, there would be times where, like, he wouldn't get used for months. And then it's like, I remember the story from WrestleMania 35. He wasn't supposed to be in the Battle Royal. And Vince suddenly on the day was like, wait, why the hell isn't Luke Harper in this Battle Royal? God damn it. Get him in the Battle Royal. Which was weird because he then got eliminated, in an afterthought spot, I'm sure. Because that was the one with Michael Che and Colin Jost in it.
You remember when he was Intercontinental Champion for like 5 minutes?
Yes, he had that fucking amazing ladder match with Dolph Ziggler on the one pay-per-view.
That was very good. I think it was TLC. It was the ladder. It was the L in the TLC.
Yeah, it was probably TLC. It was not the one I was at. No, was that I think that was the Stairs show too.
Oh
Because
God.
it was during the period after you know, Triple H and Stephanie were out of power to go take a Christmas vacation.
Yeah.
And so it was the Stairs match between the Big Show and Eric Rowan.
Boy
Uh,
was it.
oh,
Boy was it.
that was when in case you ever have listened to Brian Alvarez call him the Vintner, that's
Yeah.
why. Because to give Eric Rowan a personality, they had him go out on TV and talk about the things he likes to do, and one of them was to make wine.
I just remember, I think it was Vinny. It was one of them saying that, like, I hope the Stairs match is just them staring at each other.
That would have been better.
Oh.
Big Show, it's so weird because it's like obviously like especially later on in his career, like especially once he got into WCW and put on a shit ton of weight, he became very limited in the ring. But then like out of the blue, he like have like bangers of matches like out of nowhere, like that one with Sheamus on the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. Um, and part of me
Yeah,
I'm worried to
yeah.
actually go back and rewatch that because like, I don't think I ever watched it a second time. And I'm like, I wonder if like it was only a great match because they both kicked out of each other's finisher at a time when nobody ever kicked out of like the bro kick or the punch to the face. So it was a big deal that somebody did. And then the
I
finish,
will not. I'm
so
sorry,
good.
go on. No.
I said the finish was Sheamus went for the bro kick and Big Show sidestepped it and punched him in the face.
It's tremendous. I will not hear Paul White slander. He's great.
Now we're talking about Paul White the wrestler or Paul White the cameraman.
There's a cameraman named Paul White.
Yeah, in Mid South. They bring it up every so often
Oh,
that one of the cameramen's name is Paul White.
maybe that was the Big Show's father that the Big Boss Man drove away with his casket at a high rate of speed.
That was Andre. And then Big Show had to surf on the casket. Oh my God! Like, can you imagine? Like, I don't know if it, I don't think so because I think Big Show said later on that his dad really was dead for like years at that point.
Yeah.
Um, but it's like, can you imagine like how like A, do you come up with an angle like that? And B, how do you go up to somebody and say, okay, we got this idea for you. We're gonna say your dad died of cancer, and then the big boss man is going to try to take your dad's coffin away, and you're gonna jump on it and get dragged away on top of the coffin.
You know, the first episode of Raw that I ever watched was the episode where, like, I think it's D'Lo Brown comes up to the Big Show and talks to him, and then that's when the Big Show revealed that his father had cancer.
My former co-host's first episode of wrestling was the Baron Corbin Roman Reigns dog food angle.
Well, mine was the Rock bottoming Davey Boy Smith on a tray of dog shit.
Suddenly, I feel so much better about how my first match was the Bushwhackers versus the Rougeau brothers.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So I think we've stretched this as far as we can. Nothing else I don't think is going on. Let's see. Yeah, there's a lot of people marking out for Tyler Breeze returning, which I guess okay.
I like Tyler Breeze.
I like Tyler Breeze too. Just apparently next week or maybe not next week, but at some point they're doing NXT Homecoming, whatever the fuck that means.
Are they
Maybe
going
that
back to
means
Full Sail?
Maybe Bobby Roode's gonna walk slowly to the ring or something. I always marked out that like in tiny little Full Sail University, it would take Bobby Roode 5 minutes to walk to the ring.
Well, he was glorious.
Yes. I'm like, man, wait till this guy gets to WrestleMania. It's going to take him an hour. And then he gets to WrestleMania and he almost runs to the ring. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I was at the takeover where he won the NXT title. I'm pretty sure.
From Drew McIntyre, right?
Yes, that was in San Antonio, I think.
I think it was Houston, because maybe you're right, but I thought it was the War Games show, or was that when Andrade won it?
That was when Andrade won. Rude won the title from Nakamura, right?
Yes.
I think that was Takeover San Antonio the night before the Royal Rumble 2017. Yes, it was.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I think he lost it to McIntyre, who lost it to Andrade.
Yes.
Et cetera, et cetera. I saw the takeover with Gargano winning over Adam Cole for the title.
Okay, that was
It was a damn good show. The NXT Takeover in New York at Barclays Center WrestleMania weekend.
Yeah, that was 2019.
Yep. I was also at Nakamura's debut in 2016.
I always a little bit regretted not going to that, but I had already bought Ring of Honor tickets before they announced an NXT show.
I'm sure. I'm trying to remember. I think I actually bought my ticket, or I think I got in with the Observer group who got tickets to the show, and I gave Ed the information to buy my ticket the day before they announced Nakamura. And so, hey, I probably could have gotten a nice chunk of change out of that ticket too.
You remember the Raw after WrestleMania 30? We both bought tickets from Alan Farrell.
Yep. That was when I had to run through Bourbon Street to meet whomever it was. Maybe it was Alan, but to meet somebody to get my ticket. And that's when the guy from the strip club grabbed my arm and wouldn't let me go. And then I had to scream at him that I was gay so he would let me fucking go.
What if he was into that?
Well, apparently he wasn't, so.
Okay.
Yeah. Because he would not let me fucking go too. Oh my god, do you remember when Vader debuted on Raw and Gorilla Monsoon, and he was beating up Savio Vega after the match, so Gorilla Monsoon came down to back him off. He chopped Vader a bunch of times, and then Vader murdered him to death.
I don't know if I ever saw that whole angle. I've seen him because he Vader bombs Monsoon, right? I thought
Yeah.
I remember that part. I don't know if I ever saw the other part.
That's how Piper becomes the interim president and takes on Goldust at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I guess he wasn't supposed to, but whatever.
Yeah, there was whatever with Scott Hall that he just happened to get popped for a drug test after he gave notice.
Coincidence of coincidences, the day after he gives notice, he suddenly failed the drug test.
Uh-huh.
Yep. Apparently next week in NXT, it's going to be DIY versus Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes.
That sounds like a hell of a match. I did not know DIY was still a going concern.
Apparently, yes. Let's see. Apparently TMDK were happy after a recent match too.
I'm always happy when TMDK is happy.
I bet you are. All right. So yeah, I guess that's it here for the show. Nothing else to talk about. We really trailed off here at the end as we try to pad the runtime.
Well,
Maybe
that's what the
stop
people
trying
wanted.
to pad the runtime.
I'm gonna say I'm not the one that tries to pad the runtime. I try to keep it under 2 hours after I got in trouble for that.
We are still under 2 hours.
Okay.
It's been an hour 40 minutes, give or take a minute or two.
Wow.
But I think we can wrap things up now. Anything you want to plug or talk about? Keeping in mind we're going to be back tomorrow to talk about Smoky Mountain.
Yeah, come back tomorrow for the Smoky Mountain Wrestling Rewatch-Along podcast. It's very good.
It is a very good show. I've not watched this week's Smoky Mountain show yet. Have you?
Neither. No, I have not either. No.
Okay. Well, we'll talk to you later. Thank you all for listening. You'll talk to you again in 7 days.
Bye.